Welcome to the channel. My name is Oblivion, and today we are going to Theorycraft the Choose Your Legends full refines that are due to come out in August or September this year. Let's start off with Dimitri because I think he needs to refine the most. First, let's go over what his weapon and preference skill do. His weapon has distant counter and half of a steady breath effect. So it's similar to Owain's weapon. He only gets an additional cooldown on enemies' attacks, but not when he counterattacks. Next, let's look at Blue Lion Rule. So Blue Lion Rule has defense-based damage reduction up to 40% and a guaranteed follow-up attack, but only on enemy phase. So I think it's quite easy to see why Brave Dimitri is so underwhelming. His weapon doesn't offer any bonus stats at all, and his special acceleration is extremely weak, meaning he can't proc more powerful specials like Ignis or Ether in one round of combat. Blue Lion Rule's defense damage reduction is weaker than speed-based damage reduction as well, because of how stats work. What makes speed-based damage reduction so great is that speed guarantees that the unit doesn't get doubled, well outside of guaranteed follow-ups. In order to hit max damage reduction with speed, it requires 10 more speed than your opponent, which is more than enough to not get doubled, which means you're only taking 60% of the total damage in every combat. When it comes to defense, defense reduces damage from physical attacks, 1 for 1. So every 1 point of attack is reduced by 1 for each point of defense you have. It doesn't affect if the unit is doubled, and it doesn't reduce damage if resistance is targeted. So let's say we have max damage reduction for Blue Lion Rule. That means we're taking 60% damage just like with the speed-based damage reduction, and maybe less if the attack is physical, as stacking defense naturally lowers that damage. But we also could be outsped, which means we are now getting doubled. So now we're taking 120% damage, and it's possible the enemy unit procs their special, which means Dimitri is taking way more damage than the unit who is running speed-based damage reduction. So the question is, what does Brave Dimitri need in order to become a top tier unit? Well, here's a refine I thought of. Moon Gradivis. Unit can counterattack regardless of foe's range. Grants special cooldown charge +1 to unit and inflicts special cooldown charge -1 on foe per attack. If unit's HP is greater than 25%, or if unit is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants attack, speed, defense, and resistance +5, and reduces damage from foe's attack by 20% of unit's defense, excluding area of effect specials. Now let's remove the Yu-Gi-Oh level of text and break it down into effects. This refine grants Dimitri Special Fighter, but with no HP threshold. This makes his special acceleration better, meaning he can reliably proc specials like Ether or Ignis. It also grants him Guard, which helps fix his problem of having specials proc against him if he is slower than the opponent. It also gives him a nice +5 to all stats as long as the HP is above 25%, or if he has an ally within 2 spaces. But most importantly, he gets what I like to call True Defense, which is a nice parallel to Legendary Dimitri, who has true damage. True Defense is essentially the effect that Spring Maria has built into her weapon, where all damage has a flat amount subtracted based off the unit's defense. This helps Brave Dimitri a lot by making him more tanky. Now stacking defense lets him double down on his bulk, and now adds a flat reduction against mages or other resistance targeting enemies, while also granting the 40% damage reduction as long as he has 10 more defense than the opponent. I think this refine completely fixes Legendary Dimitri, makes him into a powerful tank, and gives him a unique niche that no other lance unit has in all the game. Brave Edelgard is still an extremely powerful unit, and is easily the best unit from this Choose Your Legends. In all honesty, I don't think she needs to refine at all, but let's see what we can do to make her a bit more powerful. Flower Hot Claire accelerates special cooldown, grants extra stats through the -6 attack and defense penalty, and most importantly gives her insane movement and teleportation as long as she's above 25% HP. Black Eagle Rule is a great preference skill that ensures a guaranteed follow-up attack on both phases and offers 80% damage reduction against follow-up attacks as long as Edelgard is above 25% HP. So what weakness does Brave Edelgard have, and what can we do to fix some of them? First, Edelgard has the common armor weakness. Second, her damage reduction is only to follow-up attacks, which means she takes full damage on the first hit, and she is weak to Brave weapons, as both attacks will do full damage. Lastly, Brave Edelgard is a slow unit, meaning she's weak to no follow-up. Now I don't think Edelgard needs to fix all of these problems. After all, there does need to be some counterplay, so this is the refine I designed. Flower Hot Claire. Accelerate special trigger, count -1. Neutralizes effective against armored bonuses. At start of turn, if unit's HP is greater than 25%, unit can move 1 extra space. And grants the following stats to unit for 1 turn. Unit can move to a space adjacent to any ally within 2 spaces. At start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than 25%, inflict attack and defense -6 on foe during combat. And also, if unit deals damage to a foe during combat, restores 7 HP to unit, triggers even if 0 damage is dealt. So this refine is a very simple one, and it might seem underwhelming, but honestly I think it's pretty powerful. This removes Brave Edelgard's armor weakness, and also grants her some nice healing, which opens up her special slot to have more offensive options. After all, what makes Brave Hector so powerful? Removing the armor weakness, and I think this will make Edelgard a much better save unit. This Refine grants Brave Edelgard a nice power up, but at the same time leaves her some clear weaknesses such as Brave Weapons, Null Follow-Up, and Windsweep effects. When it comes to the next two units, I've already theory crafted preference skills for them. If you haven't checked out that video, the link will be in the description down below. But for both of these refines, I would try to craft a weapon that works with and without the preference skill I could theory craft it. Brave Claude is a very unique and cool unit with his ranged healing tank playstyle. His weapon grants special cooldown, plus 5 to all stats, and most notably a 50% max HP heal when his special procs. When it came to theory crafting Golden Deer Rule, his preference B skill, I focused on fixing most of Brave Claude's weaknesses. So I gave him no follow-up, anti-guard, and removed that annoying fly weakness. But for his weapon refine, I wanted to give Claude a more unique niche. So this is the refine I came up with. Wind Parthia. Accelerate special trigger -1. Effective against flying foes and mages. At start of turn 1, grant special cooldown count -1 to unit. If unit initiates combat or if unit is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants attack, speed, defense, and resistance +5 during combat. And if unit also deals damage to a foe using a special, restores 50% of unit's max HP. Triggers even if 0 damage is dealt. If special triggers, grant special cooldown -1. Let's once again remove the Yukio text so we can look at a simplified version. This refine grants effective against mages, -1 special cooldown on turn 1, and special cycle, a side grade to special spiral. Special cycle charges the special immediately, unlike special spiral 3, that does it after combat. This refine is completely ridiculous and makes Claude into a special spamming monster that completely destroys mages. It makes him a great partner for any near save unit. This build will allow Claude to run all kinds of cool builds, like he can run Moonbow, attack with Moonbow, it recharges immediately after it procs, and then he can Moonbow again on the second hit, or you can run some cooldowns with higher specials. For example, Luna, and then wait for the enemy to hit you. When they hit you, you'll be able to hit back with Luna, get that amazing healing, and charge it up again. This allows Claude to run all types of builds and different specials, and allows Claude to have all types of versatile builds, so you can use your Claude exactly how you want to. Lysithea can be a powerhouse mage, but she isn't very unique. Her entire identity is to do damage, and while she does do that well when she's below 100% HP, she doesn't do much else. So for her weapon refine, let's make her even more lethal, but also give her a unique niche. The refine I came up with is Dark Spikes T, effective against cavalry foes, grants speed +3, at start of combat if foe's HP is greater than 75%, grants attack and speed +6 during combat. If unit's HP is less than 100% and unit initiates combat, unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack before foe can counterattack. At start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than 25%, grants attack and speed +4 to unit during combat, and also if special triggers, neutralizes reduces damage by X% effects from non-special skills, and grants special cooldown count -1 to all allies, once per turn only. Lysithea's refine makes her a horrifying mage to tank, as she not only unleashes a horrifying amount of damage via 2 consecutive attacks, but she can also proc a low cooldown special that ignores damage reduction. This part of the refine plays up Brave Lysithea's role as a deadly mage, but the second part of the refine gives her a unique niche as a special charger. This effect lets Lysithea support her entire team by granting special cooldown count -1 to all allies on the entire map, once per turn. And the best part is, she can do this while fulfilling her role of magical nuke. So what do you think of my refines? Did I make the units too powerful or not powerful enough? Drop a comment down below letting me know which one was your favorite and which units refine you are looking forward to the most. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like and subscribe. It helps the channel a ton and keeps the content coming out. This has been Oblivion, and I will catch you all later with more Fire Emblem Heroes.